Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. We're back with the Altima, the BAE or BAE if you like, and we're gonna do some quick stuff tonight. I did pick up some supplies. I'll show you guys there what I got for helping clean up the car and also to help diagnose and see if we have any other problems. We're starting off with the garage door open because we're gonna put the battery in this and we're going to start the car. We're going to run check engine light and see, or run to see if we have check engine light. We will have a check engine light, and do kind of a diagnosis from there. And then I also wanted to put power back in the car, see if we can get the power seat to go back and forward. Now, I believe it's all the way back. So I think the switch is going to be the problem. If I just need to get a replacement switch or whatever, that's fine. Um, but it does the other functions on the seat work. It's just forward and backward. And right now it's all the way back. It's like NBA player back. So it's a little tough to drive the car. So I'm going to go grab the battery, which has been on rebuild. It is a new battery from, I believe, October of last year or October of this year. And I wasn't sure how long it stayed outside, et cetera, et cetera. So I did a complete rebuild. That's where it desulfates the plates, the anodes and cathode plates, and releases all those and then rebuilds them from scratch. So it's a great way to get your battery to have kind of a full charge, especially after it's been sitting for a while. Pro tip, never, ever, ever, ever put a battery on bare concrete. That is a bad idea. I don't know what happens with the plates, with the anodes and cathodes. I don't know the science behind it. I could probably look it up. But when those plates, when that battery's sitting on concrete, those plates somehow completely, I don't know, they can't hold a charge after that. So never ever put a battery just on straight concrete. I mean, you can for like 3 or 4 minutes, but don't leave it there overnight. Don't leave it there for 2 weeks. It'll kill the battery. For some reason, those plates are not fans of concrete. I don't know what the hell it is. So use a couple of 2x4s, or in my case, I have a couple of 4x4s that it's sitting on, and it should work. You know, that'll keep it from jacking up the plates. So I'm going to grab the battery. We'll put it in the, I guess I'll just pop the hood right now. Put it in the Altima. Oh, the other thing I did last night, you guys might have noticed, I'll bring the camera around and show you. A ton of the green is gone from the roof, the Plastidip crap. Just sprayed some WD-40 on there, made sure it was good. Oh, Jesus. Made sure it was good coverage and gave it about 20 minutes, half an hour, came in with a razor scraper and got most of the stuff off of there. So it looks a little bit better. We can take this guy off charge. He was actually on the Viper charger. I'll show you guys, and I'll pimp these guys until the end of time, because they have yet to let me down. So bring this out with the battery. And this is just a Duralast battery. There's absolutely nothing special about it. So let me set this down. Except the battery's like 45 pounds. Duralast. And where's the sticker? 1024. What does it say? Group size. It says 35 DL. So I'm guessing it's a group 35. One thing I do want to do is wipe down the battery. It has a bunch of crap on it. I'm guessing it's from oil vapor and a little bit of spewage. But the last thing I want is a short anywhere for any reason. And fire, in this case, is always bad. So I'm just going to clean that off. Just wipe it. All All right, looking at my terminals, I got positive on this side and ground on this side, so make sure we get it oriented the correct way. Get my ground out of here. The other cables and stuff. And of course the air intake kind of fits in here. So when I hook up a battery, I usually do the positive first. And once that's nice and tight and everything's snug, then I'll come back and do the negative and finish the circuit. But it's kind of a personal preference, actually. There's not, I don't know if there's any real reason for it. Now, the other thing we've got here is, since we did pull the battery, we have also removed the codes, the check engine light codes that were in the car. So I'm just going to angle this thing back where it was, maybe. Okay. And then come back here and angle this correctly. You get a lot of torque on there, and it wants to slip on you. Okay. There's also probably grease and stuff on there. And then we hook up our 10. Now, okay, or our negative. Our we'll probably get a little arc or a little ground when we do this. Not right now, but you can. Don't freak out too bad about it. Remember all that stuff I talked about, electronics? Just be careful. Be smart. If you have an all-metal wrench and you're hooking up the positive and you already have the ground hooked up, try not to arc weld. Hey, there we go. Got a little spark because we have a really good connection. When you have a little bit of air between the two components, that's when you get the good spark. So there we go. Our battery's back in. Now, of course, this doesn't have the factory tie down. Who knows where the hell that is? So we'll have to get a tie down. We'll probably go to the junkyard and grab one. They're not that big a deal. It's a bar that goes across here that just holds that battery in place. But for the race, we absolutely have to have this tied down. Battery's back in, put tools away. And one other thing, one of the supplies that I picked up today, and I'll show you guys this stuff. So we did a little trip to, we'll just call it Wally World. We won't really advertise for them because they're not paying us jack. We have Velcro strips, but those are actually for a different project. We have, this is the stuff I was telling you about. This is the Gunk engine cleaner. This is the stuff. I've been using this for 25, 30 years, just forever and ever. This is really quality stuff. They have different levels. This is the foamy. This is like the first one you use. So they have like 3 or 4 different ones, and you can go all the way to like brilliant shine. This is for heavy grease, heavy dirt. When you have an engine that hasn't been cleaned in a long, long, long time, this is the stuff you use. And you can do 2 passes with this. Just make sure the engine is dry when you do it, and also make sure the engine is cool. Don't be an idiot. Run your car all day and then come in and spray this on there. It's just gonna, first off, this stuff isn't gonna work. It's gonna melt. Next off, you run the incredible risk of a fire. So let the engine cool, then put this stuff on, and then you just use a garden hose. You don't have to use a power washer if you don't want. And if you got really gnarly big chunks of dirt and grease and grime and grunk, you can brush it after you put this on. Brush it and then hose it off, and that'll help break it up. But this stuff works really, really, really well. If you do 1 or 2 passes of this, it should look pretty much like a new engine, depending on how bad it is. The other stuff we got is also from Gunk. This is just a regular degreaser, and this is what we're going to use in the wheel wells and on the undercarriage of the car. Again, you just spray this on, and then you just use a garden hose to wipe it or to rinse it off. And then while I was there, I got the brush kit for the drill because this was stupid cheap. It was actually on sale. And that's going to help take some of the green off of some of that plastic dip off the roof. But that's insanely boring, and I'm not going to bore you guys with that stuff. So we were talking about the battery maintainers, and I've talked about these guys for ever and ever. The only reason I talk about stuff is because it works for me and I've used it. I don't get paid. I don't get free shit. None of that. The reason I'm doing this is because I've tested all the other stuff. I haven't found anything better than that, and that's why I tell you guys about it. Again, I'm not getting paid jack. This is a Noco. This is a Genius 5, and this one's actually for the Viper, but we used it on the Altima, kind of because I was in a hurry too. It's a 5 amp. Noco makes these awesome battery maintainers. They are the best in the business. That's it. There's other stuff out there, C-Tech, Schumacher, these other guys. They make okay stuff. If you want the best, go get a Noco. And they make them in different sizes. I have 1 amps for the motorcycles. I have a 2 amp, a little smaller guy for the Miata. I have this guy for the Viper. At my shop in Ohio, I have a big 10 amp Mamma Jamma for, for the trucks and for tractors and stuff like that. So 1, 2, 5, and 10. This one I think is like $99, and it should last me 10 years at least. The trailer, Scott's trailer, has an older one that's I think it's a 3 amp, or it might be 2.8. I think it's a 2800. Actually, I can look at it right now. Oh, I can't see it. It's in the dark. But it looks like this. This one, unfortunately, has died. I am going to check on warranty. This is the old version. I had this one for over 10 years. This is the 3500, 3.5 amps, or 3500 milliamps. And you can tell, I mean, this got dragged behind the Viper once, probably for about half a mile before I realized it was still hooked up. This one lasted me a very, very, very long time. It was outside most of the time. This one is pretty hardcore. So this one I just want to check warranty on, and I'll send pictures and info to Noco. If they don't warranty it, I'm not too broken. Again, this one was like $60. They're the best out there. They got tons of accessories. You can, I have plugs on all the cars, so I don't need the little pincers. It's a really nice setup. Solid craftsmanship. They're designed in Cleveland, and I believe they are made overseas, but they're a great company. They've been around for a really, really long time. So I'm kind of afraid to start the Altima with the hood prop, but we'll give it a start. And then here's another thing that I want to show you guys. Just more tools. I just love tools, right? So this is called the iCar Pro. I don't even know if they still make it. This is a Wi-Fi OBD2 dongle, and this plugs into the OBD2 on your car. If your car has it after 96, your car is required by law to have this. So you plug this in, and you have an app on your phone. Whatever app you want to use will use the Wi-Fi from this, and you're basically connected to your car. The app that I use is Dash Command, and there's a free version, there's a paid version. There's a bunch of different apps. There's Torque, there's all this other stuff. So find an app that you want to use, score a Wi-Fi dongle. They're about $30, and you want Wi-Fi versus Bluetooth. Wi-Fi is 100 times faster than Bluetooth. So if you're looking at gauges and RPMs and stuff, like I'll show you, then you want to have the better response time. If you do Bluetooth and you rev the car, it'll take a second for it to show. With this, it's much, much quicker. There's a lot less latency. So Wi-Fi, Bluetooth works, Wi-Fi way better. So hop in the car, get it started. Hey, we have lights and stuff. And then just for grins, I'm gonna try the seat. Now I can hear power going to it, but it sounds like it kind of sounds like the motor's locked up. So all the other functions work. The up, down, front, and back work, and the tilt works, but sliding forward and back does not. So that's definitely something we have to look at. Oh, this has a really nice kick light. Kick light. So where these are in the car, I'm going to bring you guys around here so you can see kind of where I'm looking. I'll show you because there's a big legal thing about where they have to go. It's crazy. The OBD2 laws are really, really crazy. It's very specific on where the OBD2 port has to go in the car. So they say it has to be within like 14 inches or 12 inches of the driver's knee. And it can be on the left side or the right side, but it has to be there. It can be covered, but it has to be labeled very specific. It's weird. So all you really have to do is feel around down here for something that looks like this. And that feels like it. It's right there. Other cars, it might be on this side. On the Miata, it's over on this side. But I can feel him right there. And I feel the shape. He's a very specific trapezoidal shape. So we'll plug him in. Now, you have to be careful with that because when you plug him in, he's powered. And he's actually pulling power from the battery. There's a hard wire from the OBD2 straight to the battery that's on full time. So if you leave that plugged in, you're basically draining your battery a little bit. So we're gonna put the car in start. And we're in neutral. And then I just go to my phone and I make sure it's on V-Link, which is the name of the Wi-Fi for that. And it's gonna fight with the house Wi-Fi too, I'm sure. And then I go to dash command. I open up dash command. Do you like this app? And later. And I already have Nissan Altima in there. And it just says that it's connected. And then if I want to go to the dashboards, that's what the dashboards look like. It tells me my speed and it tells me my RPMs. Acceleration, power. Right now at idle, it's using 9 horsepower and 33 foot-pounds of torque. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff. You can do fuel economy. It has all of your timing and all of that stuff too, which is kind of helpful, especially if you're trying to tune stuff or diagnose. It's really just kind of the basic stuff. There's a lot more in the free version or in the paid version, but this is all we really need. So we can go back here and then we can go to diagnostics and that's gonna, what does it say? Okay. It's gonna read all your codes. So you can hit read codes and it says 2 pending codes found. And I'm just gonna screenshot this so I can look it up later. So it says, if you guys can read that, intake manifold control stuck open, bank 1. Intake manifold runner position sensor switch circuit, bank 1. So that's probably a connector. It could also be completely failed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear the codes because that was a pending code. Clearing trouble codes. And I have no codes right now. But I do have TPMS, and I have another caution light. I don't know what that is. So we have a CAT system and an O2 sensor. So that's really kind of it. If I take the brake off, we have, oh, we're low on washer fluid. That's why I have the warning light, the little caution icon. What do I hit to exit? Oh, it's over here. Oh, exit, and the door's open. Okay. So we can get rid of the check engine light. It might not be a plug. It might actually be the runner itself. If it was unhooked, it would come back immediately. Okay. So that's it for running the car. Now we're done with this. We can close out the app and we can go back to our regular Wi-Fi. And we also need to make sure we unplug our Wi-Fi dongle. What are you doing? Why are you beeping at me? Okay, stop. I don't know what that is. It's asking me to push the clutch in. I think it's because the door's open. So that's it. That's quick, simple engine diagnosis and car diagnosis. Now, oh, it's warning me that the keys are in here. Okay. That's so funny. Oh. I think this whole seat might be broken. Because that thing just slid really. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, this seat's obviously going to come out. So now it's not going to beep at me. Good. Because I told it, hey, it's okay. You can leave the car in there or the keys in there. So let's close the garage door. Get back with this thing. So my neighbors don't want to see my shit. So yeah, highly recommended to get one of these. They're about 30 bucks. The nice part is in something like the Miata, which has a very simple OBD2 system, you can actually read codes and clear codes on the fly. Like as I'm driving, I can clear codes and get rid of the check engine light. I don't have to stop, pull over, turn the car on and off. Some codes you do have to clear by turning the ignition on and off. So we have a screenshot of that. We can look that up. I'm hoping that just some intake cleaner takes care of that. We'll give it a try. It really doesn't affect the car's performance that much. It does on super cold starts, but not really when it's warm. It's more of a fuel efficiency thing than it is or like a cold start helper than it is really for anything else. So not a major concern, not like a cam angle sensor or anything like that. That would be a major that has to get changed out, has to get plugged in, whatever. The other thing I noticed on this car was how this headlight does not sit the same as the other side. It seems to be sunken in more, but all of this stuff, this subframe mount and this mount, all match up. So I don't know if that is from this not lining up, but you can see this guy's sunken down in here pretty deep. So I'm going to take a look at that quick and see if I can get that out. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to check. It was the headlights. Now, the last time I looked, we had 3 of the 4 halo headlights working. 1, 2, 3. This headlight does not work. And we have 4 LEDs here. We have 4 LEDs here. They're just not very bright. And then for our high beams are working on both sides. They are an entirely different color. We have 3 LEDs here, 3 LEDs here. Because we don't have the halo ring on this side, we have a totally different color. So, oh, what is that? That's the fan. I don't know if you guys can hear that. That is the fan kicking on for these aftermarket lights. They have little fans in them to keep them cool. Oh yeah, you can feel it. Yeah, you can really feel the fan on this one. It's harder to feel the fan on this one. I'm guessing from whatever impact that took, whatever impact the car took, the fan got jacked up, the light got jacked up, whatever. On the aftermarket stuff, it's kind of fragile. It's not built really all that well. What else? Oh, I wanted to show you guys the trunk. And also, this door handle cover has decided to liberate itself. I noticed that earlier today, so we'll have to figure out a way to glue that back in place because I think the clip is broken. So there is a fuel door latch. That is a switch, but I don't see a latch for the trunk. Or a button here. Nope, I just have windows up and down, door locks. I don't have any kind of button or pull for the rear. Now you can get to the rear through the inside here, and the latch does work and the springs work. Oh, and we have a really nice, there's a light back here. There's an Altima carpet pad. There's the wiring for the subwoofer that was in there. I should actually sell this pad. All right. I'm gonna bring you guys back and we can take a look at the trunk and see how much weight we're gonna take out of this trunk. But first we gotta get rid of Jimmy Millipede here. Because otherwise I'm just gonna step on him. And that makes a mess. And I don't wanna clean up the mess. Plus it's a karma thing, right? There you go, buddy. Be free out there. There's a lot more food and water out there, I promise. So I bring you guys around. Let's grab a light too. We'll take a look at the trunk because we didn't get to go in there last night. So we didn't have a battery in there. So there is the Altima trunk with this really nice carpet. And of course, there won't be any metal here except for up here. Nice. Oh, no, there'll be bolts here. This plate will be. Okay. There we go. That's not too bad. So we have a nice Altima carpeted pad. And then up here, we have some wiring. Hey, that is still hot. Oh, shit. Well, okay. Whatever you do, don't cover up the hot wire, you ding dong. This is, those are pull tabs. so you can fold down the rear seats. All right, hang on. I gotta go take that fuse out of the thing up front because that's where that power is coming from. I'm guessing. Come on. Oh, there he goes. Unscrew. All right. Stay right there. Oh, of course, this one doesn't want to come loose. Well, the fuse is on the ground now. That's a good thing, right? There he goes. Okay. Now, we should not have power back there. Whoops, I can't go that way. We should not have power back there. In theory. Yay, no more power. All right, so we'll take this carpet out. You could probably sell this. It's actually really good carpet. Like I said, oops. They left one of the prongs in here. We'll take that with us. Now, this is the fun part. All this stuff that I take out of the car, I have to keep because the car is already sold, like I said, right? So all this stuff has to go back in it. And here's more. These guys are obviously ant building pros. Oh yeah, that stupid air freshener on the. I have this weird thing about shit hanging off the rearview mirror. So I'm not a fan of it. It really distracts me. So this carpet is part of the bigger carpet up there. We are going to roll it up here. What do we got here? We have our lug wrench. We have another piece. This looks like something else. Nothing else over there. I'm curious to find out what the hell else is in here. Yeah, I don't know what that is. This is just a fiberboard cover because there's a big styrofoam insert in here. Oh, we have a bottle of something. So we have a bottle of Lucas power steering fluid. There's a little bit left. Probably not worth saving. The nice part, we get a full-size spare. The reason that's nice is not only because no one likes driving on a donut when you get a flat tire, but also it's a lot of weight we can take out of the car. This is probably 35 pounds. This is a steel wheel and a very old tire. The tire is from 2015, and it is the 8th week of 2015. So, very old tire, and not a good spare. This can get stripped and replaced. Who's here? Hey, Tress. Yes, Tress, we're racing this car. We being me. I'm the only clown racing this car. So we'll get our spare out of here. And I have a scale somewhere, so I'll be weighing all the stuff that I take out. Like I said, I have to get this under 3,000 pounds. So this car, as it sits right now, is 3,053 pounds, not including the shitty stereo wiring. So I have to get out between 50 and 60 pounds to get it under 3,000 pounds. And I talked to Speedy Cop today, and he agreed. Oh, this isn't a full-size spare. Damn it. It is the correct diameter, but he is a skinny spare. It's a motorcycle tire. Damn, I was really hoping. This is only like 20 pounds. So I was really hoping for a full-size spare. Hey, we got money. No, we don't. I don't know what this is. Oh, it's a quarter. It's officially a quarter. So technically I've made money on this car already. There's a bunch of garbage in here. Just stuff that can get cleaned out. This is that sound dampening material that is a huge pain in the dick to get out. So we're going to leave that in there. Our wrench is actually supposed to go right there. I don't know why it was out of there. And this is a tow hook. It's obviously missing. So we will take the jack and the other stuff out of here. That's what's in the trunk. A few leaves, a quarter, and a little bit of garbage. Nothing too dramatic. These foam pieces, I think the foam can come out of here. Now, the good side is taking the foam out does reduce weight, but it's such minimal weight reduction that in an accident, it's probably better to have the foam in here. So I'll take the components out, like the jack and the wrench and the spare and stuff, but I'll probably leave the foam in here just as a safety factor, because this stuff is going to be probably less than a pound for both of these. So it's not worth it. It's better to have it kind of as a safety thing, getting crunched from the sides. So not a massive deal. Any engine mods? You want to go back up to the engine? Okay, we can do that. I want to show you guys. They left all the masking tape when they primered the trunk. So yeah, I got a bunch of it off. But there's still a ton on here. Yeah. So very clean trunk. I've seen way worse. And yeah, if you give me a second, I'll wheel you guys up to the front and take a look at that. Now, what I don't know is what this bar is for. This is a nicely machined aluminum bar with two holes in it. You know what? This was probably for the amp bracket, probably an amp hold down. So I don't know. It's a nice piece of machined aluminum. So we'll put it in the spares pile, keep it for a year. If we don't use it, it gets pitched. Also have to vacuum out these leaf trays. They're in pretty bad shape. But yeah, that's the trunk. So not too bad. It does have the jack right there. And God, this looks like a foot pedal. Is that a foot pedal? That's a foot pedal cover, right? Yeah. I mean, you guys, that's a little hard to see, I guess. But that's a foot pedal cover. All right. And there's the dead hooker pull, so you can get out of the trunk. Carpet all in here hasn't been molested, so this is all in pretty good shape. All right. I don't know what that pedal cover's for. And it's kind of weird that a pedal cover would be in the trunk, but it's car people, man. There's no explaining it. Oh, yeah, those struts are pretty much dead. That should be a little softer close. Who else is here? Hey, Liz. All right, so we're coming back to the engine. Who requested? Oh, Trust requested the engine. So there's our engine. This is the 2.5 liter. And there's honestly nothing special about this, except that it is a junkyard engine. And you can tell it's a junkyard engine because of, and of course, I left the light somewhere. You can tell it's a junkyard engine because it has this writing on the block. See that 207 or whatever, the bright orange, and it's also up here 25208. Is that what that is? 207 something, 25 something, 208. So that's the paint markings that they use at like Pick and Pull and places like that. When you get an engine, they put a mark on there so you can't sell it back to them, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a replacement 2.5 that's in here. No clue on the mileage on the replacement engine with any good fortune. It is less than what was on the first engine. The only downside is what happened to the first engine. That's my question. How bad did it get? Yeah. So that's what we don't know. They did put a cold air intake on here and remove the stock air box. Holy shit, I don't know if this is going to drop. I have to get struts for this because this is bullshit. I do not like this. It's just really sketchy, and I don't know how far it can fall. The intake is fine. I don't really care about that. It's not bringing in any cool air. It's actually bringing in hot air from the engine. There's no shield on it. There's no direct air coming in, anything like. So it kind of looks cool, but it doesn't really do much. The plant port, yeah, I just bought it, and believe it or not, before I even got it here to my house, I already sold it. I bought it let's see, 2 weeks ago, and then I was in Ohio for a week for a wedding, and then I came back here, picked it up from my buddy's house in Tampa, who let me store it there, and I brought it here yesterday, unloaded it, and power washed it, and that's really all I've done to the car. I did take a ton of the green, plastidip off the roof, but that's it. Haven't done much else to it. There's obviously a ton coming. All new fluids, oil change, transaxle fluid change, brake fluid, coolant. The coolant is like, what did I call it last night? Tatooine brown. It's rough. You can also tell this is a replacement engine because we have the mismatched coil packs. So you have two factory ones, and then you have two non-factory ones. This is odd. You can also tell because, like last night, hooked up this wire that runs over the alternator, goes down to the AC. Some of this stuff wasn't hooked back up correctly. So you can tell that it's a replacement engine when stuff isn't wired back in or hoses aren't run the right way. This is a zip tie right here. Obviously, that's supposed to be a hose clamp like this. So there's some stuff, you have to do touch-ups. This hose clamp, the upper rad hose clamp, is broken. So again, if we can go to the junkyard and find a battery terminal cover, it might find one of those too. Maybe a couple of matching coil packs. The 2.5s are pretty common engines. And again, this one doesn't have any leaks out of the bottom, but we do have a valve cover gasket leak right here. And that's super common on a lot of four cylinders, especially with this stupid thermoplastic valve cover gasket, valve cover. That is, I know that's cheap and I know it works. It's just bad. Same thing with the plenum. I hate this. It's just, you guys save so many pennies. You think you would deliver a better product. What else? There's no squeaking of the belt, so we have a good tensioner. Although I should probably replace the belt because the one thing that will jam up on me is going to be the belt. Everything else will be running smoothly and fine, and then the belt will lock up like 5 laps into the race. So come back around and we'll do an overall view again. Get mostly the car in the shot. You guys don't really want me in the shot. So again, did not have a truck stop by today, but as you can tell from the dented can, I did have Amazon drop off today. Jesus, like 40%, man. So This car, oh, Jesus. Okay, let's go back a little bit and we'll raise up a little bit. So, like I talked about last night, this car's racing in the Altima 600 at the Freedom Factory on January 17th. Took me a little more than a year to get into the race. Those, the entries, they sell out so quickly. The first one was in like 5 minutes. This one took about 4 minutes, and I got really lucky and scored one of the 100 entries. So had to find a car that wasn't a shitbox. And unfortunately, I had to use Marketplace to find a car. And I will tell you this, the adventure, it could be an entire reality series using Facebook Marketplace to find a Nissan Altima when you have cash in your pocket and an event that you have to get to within 3 weeks, a month. That could be an entire reality series. And it's stunning. It's stunning how many people you say, hey, I would like to give you a lot of money, and they just, and then you send them another message and you're like, hey man, I haven't heard back from you. I just wanted to check in if the car, is still available. I'd like to come check it out this afternoon. And do that 100 times. You sort of lose faith in humanity. You're like, is this real? Is this AI? Do I smell? What is the problem with trying to buy that? It's crazy, crazy. It also, it really, it just sort of explains humanity, a lot of humanity, all at once. It's really funny. Um, oh, yeah. So this past weekend, I hadn't picked up the car yet. I flew in on Thursday afternoon. I drove to Naples to grab the trailer, which I'm also modifying. We're doing a wireless remote. There's a whole bunch of maintenance I'm doing on the trailer because, anyway. So I picked up the trailer in Naples, drove back here, and then drove to Orlando. Put the Viper on the trailer, drove to Orlando, went to Orlando to the Florida Viper Christmas party event. And then the following morning, we went to Cars and Coffee just outside of Sanford, and then went to lunch. And then I came back here, dropped off the Viper, then drove up to Tampa and picked up the car. So while I was in Orlando with the Viper folks, one of my Viper buddies said, I was telling him about the car, in the race, showed him pictures. He was like, that's really cool. I'm looking for a basic car for my son. He's like, I'll buy the car from you, when you're done with the race. Cool. So before I'd even got the car back here to the shop, it had already been sold. So I warned him, I go, it will probably not be this nice, which is not very nice. Probably not be this nice when I get it back from Freedom Factory. But he's like, nope, that's fine. He doesn't need a Lambo. He doesn't need a Veyron. He needs transportation, and it should be a manual, so he learns how to drive manual. And I was like, all right, well, this is a 6-speed, so there we go. As far as the weight is a personal thing, and the weight is also for me talking with Speedy Cop and picking his brain about what's the best setup to get. Obviously, the best setup to get is what he has. He has the V6. He has the 6-speed manual, and he has a coupe. And I got 2 out of the 3. I got the coupe, I got the 6-speed, but I got the 2.5. So I'm halfway there, but I have nicer tires. The tires on this car are actually really new. There's probably only a couple thousand miles on them. So finding all this stuff, trying to get the best car available without dumping. I mean, it'd be easy to dump $20,000 into this and fully cage and fire suppression and completely strip it out and TBL, the undercarriage and all that. That's not the whole principle of the race. The principle of the race is to get a super cheap car, hopefully go faster than the other guys, and then, drive it back onto the trailer and do the next race in a few months. So what I want to do is I want to get this car because it is only 175 horsepower. So when you have 175 horsepower and 3,000 pounds, you're not a very quick car. The car gets up and goes okay, but if it's lighter, if I can take 100 pounds out of this car, that'd be great. If I can take 200 pounds out of this car, that'd be really nice. With the power seat, the seats in the rear, some of the other stuff, I can probably get 150 pounds out of this car, which would be really nice. I need it lighter so that it goes better. Um, I'm not too worried about weight in the car because most of the weight is going to be up front here, and we are front wheel drive, so I'm okay with that. It's getting that static dead weight in the back out of the car. So that's the trick. That's why I wanted under 3,000 pounds. Yeah, the prize for the race. Trust asked what the prize for the race was. I don't remember off the top of my head. I'd have to go back and look at it. I think it was $1,000 for first place, $500 for second place, and 250 for third place. Uh, that's not really. I'm definitely not in it for the money. I mean, that would be great. That would absolutely cover the weekend. But I'm in it to go have fun with cool guys who like to rip around the track. And we're doing it in, kind of fun, silly cars. So it's not a huge money layout. It's not a huge risk. We're in a 3/8 oval. So we're going to be topping out at 55, maybe 60 miles an hour, be third gear in this car. Um, and it's more about having fun with your friends than it is about the money. And for the spectators, the last couple of events I've gone and watching some of the driving skills is pretty incredible, especially from the non-pro guys. Like, Garrett has like NASCAR guys and rally guys and all this other stuff, but also watching some of the guys who are, they flat towed their car there from Mississippi to race. Watching some of those guys rip around the track, it's pretty incredible. And personally, my favorite is watching all the CVTs implode. That's I'm not a big love to see destruction guy, but when I have that when I know better than to put a snowmobile transmission in a car, and yet a manufacturer does that, then I get to see it eat itself. That's very gratifying for me. Call me a sicko, whatever. I don't care. Don't put a snowmobile transmission in a car. Put it in a snowmobile. Come on. There's like 700 horsepower snowmobiles that run CVT transmissions. Is that nuts? You ever seen those things? You ever seen like the top fuel? They have top fuel snowmobiles. They have like these huge long tracks, and I mean they're nuts, and they're really wide skis out front. And the guys are, I mean, it's crazy, and they're on snow. I mean, they're hauling. So sure. Oh yeah, yeah. This is one of the blip shit shirts. I have probably 400 blip shift shirts. They used to send me Christmas cards. I have a lot of blip shift. I have a ton of them. Some of them are shop shirts. Some of them are not shop shirts. Um, blip shift has. They usually have some pretty good stuff. So yeah, I'm super excited about the race. It's one of those. I was really hoping because with everything that happened last weekend with Greg Biffle and all of that, I was really hoping to be racing against a guy who had won at Daytona. That would have been really cool. And he's just all the stuff he did during the hurricane and everything since. Mentoring Garrett and it just all of that was really, really cool. And to just have it stripped away from all of us sucks. So I was really looking forward to that. But I'm definitely going to make the most of it. The theme on the car is going to be, hopefully a nice hat tip to both Garrett and Biff, and hopefully that's it's done well intentioned and with taste. Uh, Definitely not, putting dildos all over the car and all that stuff. This isn't Lemons. This is going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. And from going to the events, I can tell how much fun those guys have, even when their cars get beer canned. these guys, car dies and a guy comes around the corner and doesn't see him, goes for a pass and doesn't see the car that's parked there and just absolutely ass packs him. And the guy walks away. These races are very structured very, very well. There's a ton of safety, even without cages. So, um, also, you guys remind me to unplug the airbags. I forgot. It's one of the most important parts. Because you definitely, you don't want to have someone, you know, brake check you and send off your airbag, and then you got to fight that thing the whole race. So yeah, we'll unhook those. We actually might just pull it out of the car. Definitely pulling the passenger one. We'll definitely pull the driver's one too. I think. Yeah, yeah. That's a good idea. Um, but yeah, there's some other stuff, and I have to email Freedom Factory and triple check, because what I don't want to do is get all this stuff done, take the car to tech, and have them tell me to go home because it's not right. So this is a new race for me, and I've never raced on an oval before. So this is a new track, new type of track. I mean, I've done just a shitload of road course racing, and in my youth, the amount of off-roading that I did in my youth is gross. Um, so this is something new, and I'm super excited for it. I'm really jazzed. And to do it in, such a simplistic car, it's fun. There are overheating issues with all of the engines, just because a lot of the guys run them so hard. Most of the overheating stuff that I've seen in the last two events have come from engines with CVTs, because they are running them at a massive RPM all the time, and they don't have the option to shift. They don't have the option to gear down. So these things are just running at 6 grand the entire time. And it's hard, it moves coolant and stuff through, but it's really difficult to, move enough air to help that coolant cool stuff off. So you have a lot of engines that blow up that way. Most of the time, though, it's the CVTs that blow up. I would say 80% of the time, 70% of the time, it's the CVT that eats itself. They're just not built for this. There's a reason you don't see them in Formula One or trophy trucks or IndyCar or NASCAR. There's a reason you don't see those transmissions there. They're not. That's not what they're for. They're not. They're not good for that stuff. So yeah. Yeah, they ask that it's stock. You can modify it, but they ask for it to be stock. So I guess during tech, I'll tell them this is how the car came. You know, um, they don't really care about. They're not scrutineering to the level of like SCCA Pro. They are scrutineering to make sure, number one, it's safe, and number two, that you didn't put an LS in it or anything like that. So if you have a $80 cold air intake, they're not going to care. But again, I will triple check to make sure. Otherwise, I got to go get a stock air box, which actually is, considering this thing, stock air box probably is a better fit than what this thing does, and I bet you it provides cooler air. So we'll see. Um, and I definitely need to get some intake cleaner, take care of that intake flap. Hopefully that takes care of that. What else on this? Like I said, the shocks are all done. I have to order the brake fluid. We're going to be running Motul 600 for the brake fluid and for the clutch fluid. So I have a ton of that stuff coming. I'll show you guys how I'm going to do brake. We're actually going to drain brakes, all the old fluid back out, all new fluid goes in, and we'll get the brakes bled and the clutch bled as well. So, yeah, again, we only have a few weeks to do this stuff. So that's why I'm going to be doing this all this week. I know it's Christmas time and everyone's with their families and, sitting on the couch, working on gingerbread houses. I'm going to be here in the shop, and I'm going to be working on this car. I'm going to be working on the Miata. I have some stuff on the trailer that I have to do. So we're doing a cool new remote control unit for the winch. And also, there's a bunch of maintenance. The where it sits right now, they don't do any maintenance on it. So when I use it, I do all the maintenance. So we have a bunch of new components. There's a new battery. There's new all this other stuff. Trailer gets cleaned up, and then it goes back to Naples into storage. So uh, adding the remote is a big deal because the current remote is wired and it's only like 6 feet long. So you have a 20-foot trailer, you can't really like steer the car onto the rig or anything. So just do a simple, it's like a $50 wireless remote, works with everything, it's universal. What else we got? All those wires in the trunk were for the stereo system. So what I did was, and I'll show you here quick, it was easy to figure out that they originally had a stereo system in here because when I pulled the battery, I noticed this Gigantor, this is probably a 100 amp fuse. And this guy just, he unscrews and he's under the car right now. It's got kind of like a large bus type fuse in there. And he goes back together like that. And he is straight power from the battery that powers the power amp back there. That's the name, power amp. Let me go under the car. Oh, there's the fuse. All right, he's right there. So this is what that fuse looks like. And he's a big 100 ampere. He's got a little zigzag in there. So that's what was sparking in the trunk, which could cause a lot of problems, including a fire, a whole bunch of other stuff. So this will probably stay in here for now. If I get the chance to rip it out, I will. It's probably only, 8 ounces, maybe half a pound of wiring. It's only, I don't know, this is 8 gauge, 6 gauge wire. And so it's not really a big weight factor. And now that we have power from it killed, we don't really. I didn't know that he was still hooked up. I thought he went to a relay. I was mistaken. That was my fault. I could have burned the car down, but I didn't. So that's what those wires were in the trunk. They were the control wires and power wires for the audio power amp. There is a stereo in the car that I showed you guys last night that's not mounted very well, or I should say is not mounted. And that stereo is going to come out. Obviously, I have no use for that during the race. Plus, I can't really use it because I don't have the PIN code for it. And the previous owner doesn't have the PIN code, so it's basically garbage. So all that stuff will come out. We do not need that. And I'm guessing with the wiring that I've seen so far, yanking that power amp wire probably won't be that big a deal. I'm guessing it's just tucked under carpet and run under seats. It's not, hot glued down anywhere or anything like that. So get that thing yanked out. Yeah, since that's a hot wire and not going through any of the power distribution center or any of the other modules in the car, since it's a straight shot, it probably didn't hurt any of the other stuff. It would be very hard for it to connect to that. I don't see that as a major issue, but that is definitely something to be worried about. If you do have something like that that is going through the main PDC or through any of the other body modules and you have 12 volts, that's when you really want to double check and make sure everything still works properly. But this is just a straight shot. This is like an extension cord plugged into your wall, and you go out there and you stick a fork in the end of the extension cord. So not going to really hurt the rest of your wiring in your house, but you're going to get juiced. So yeah. Yeah, it's just it's an AliExpress radio. I'm not too hurt about ditching it. It's just a double din radio. I still have the quarter. Oh, he's like really faded back here. And then this also tells you, like I showed you guys, this is how good the install was. These guys were just hanging out in the trunk. Two little fork connectors, open spade connectors, whatever you want to call them. So they will get appropriated. The last thing we'll probably do on this car is paint. So like I said, I'm not too worried about the green. It'll be one of those things when I get to it, I get to it. I'm not in any kind of rush. It does annoy the shit out of me, and that's why last night I did the WD-40 and razor blade. When it's a nice day and all that, then I'll do some more of it with the brush and some WD-40. But tomorrow we're gonna do engine cleaning. I showed you guys this earlier. We're probably gonna do 2 laps of this, and we're gonna get the engine bay as clean as possible. The other good thing about doing the engine nice and clean is you can find leaks. So you might think you see a leak now, but now you can really pinpoint it. When you start the engine that second time, you'll see where the oil's coming out or where, whatever fluid is coming out, you'll see where the leak is. And that's why having a clean engine is really important. It really helps with that. There is no cage required for the race. That is a good question, Trust. There's no cage required for the race, but they do recommend it. Also, during the driver's meeting, they highlight, do not aim for the driver's side door. Avoid the driver's side door. And that's extremely solid advice. As the track runs clockwise, usually the driver's side door is to the outside. So if you're coming inside on a turn and you fall towards the outside of the track, you're going to go to the passenger side. So that's solid advice, staying away from the driver's side door. And you guys are very, very good at it. In the last couple events, there's been some bumps and bruises, but guys that don't have a cage, they've walked away. And there's been some incredible impacts. I mean, incredible. So I guess we're all very fortunate with that. But again, we're doing kind of slower speeds. We're under 60 miles an hour for a lot of it. A third gear most of the track. So roll cage is great, and it's definitely a very secure feeling. But when you get into triple digits is when you really want a roll cage, or it's necessary to have a roll cage, because the inertia you get from that can really, really jack up a car. At 40 or 50 miles an hour, the standard impact on this car is actually pretty damn good. So, even though it's aluminum body, they design it pretty well and it's pretty safe. So that's also why they recommended a bigger car like an Altima versus a tiny car like the Miata Challenge. That's a different story. If I'm in a Miata doing 50 miles an hour, absolutely, the very minimum a roll bar, if not an entire 8-point cage. So when you have a bigger behemoth like this, it's it's a little different way to race. What other questions? Yeah, Pinto's a different thing though. Pinto was a really bad design. I believe they fixed that though by discontinuing the Pinto, thankfully. So yeah, I'm super jazzed about this race. When I hear back from them, I'll have a lot more info that I'll pass along to you guys, because I'm sure some of the other people that are first time racers in this event, they want to know it too. So I'll definitely pass it along to you guys, whatever I can. But yeah, this should be a lot of fun. I've got a couple of friends coming down on vacation from Ohio, and they're going to come to the event. And earlier today, I talked with a buddy of mine who actually might come crew for me. By crew, I mean yelling, "Go, Kev, go." I don't know what he's going to do, we don't have spares or anything, anything like that. So this is a kind of a this is kind of a firework. It's a one-shot deal. So, but it'll be great to have him there, and then we'll come down here and we'll have a cool weekend together. Of course, the first thing he asks me, "You have a grill at your house, right?" "Oh yeah, oh yeah, nice Blackstone, absolutely." You are allowed to pit. So here's the running. Running is kind of different than like what I'm used to on a road course, where we have a whole bunch of different flags. We have 7 or 8 different flags that tell us different things. At this event, you have what's called red light, green light, and this is it makes for a very fun race. So green light means go like hell. Red light means stop right now as quickly and safely as you can. Maintain your position. If you're 43rd, you got to stay in 43rd. Don't, let this guy creep up behind you. Otherwise, you get yelled at. The race director will come over your earpiece. Pull up. Go behind the 26 car, whatever. Don't get embarrassed like that. So just come to a stop. There are no cautions. So they go until the track has so much carnage that cars can't get around. And then they'll hit red light, everyone stops, and the cranes come out, and the quads and the front loaders, and they pick up the cars and bring them in the center field and kind of stack them there. And then they hit green light again. And the crew there is really great. They're very fast. They know how to move this shit out of the way very quickly. And so you get right back on track. Now, the problem is there's going to be oil, there's going to be coolant, there's going to be front fascias, rear fascias, mirrors hanging up. So you're going to have a whole bunch of obstacles once that green light goes. And you can gain a lot of places when that green light hits. You can also lose a lot of places when that green light hits. So you got to be careful on that. Yeah, and then your question with pits. You are allowed to pit. So if you have a tire issue, you can come into the pits, change out your tire, and come back out. But it's a long way to the pits. You have to exit the track, go behind tech, or go past tech, go over to your pit area, change out your tire, come back through, and then you have to wait for a red light before you can come back in. So hopefully there's another red light that you can come back in, and then you start at the back of the pack. You don't get your spot back. You start, and I think there's, last I checked, there were 110 cars, 110 Altimas that are entered in the race. I'll get a better number shortly, and I'll pass that along to you guys, but I think there's 110. They did 100 for Average Joes, and then they had 10, Garrett and Victor and Speedy Cop and all the regulars that are going to come race. How many laps do you get for qualifying? I don't know that. I don't know. I would guess, with that many cars, they're going to have to limit it, or they're going to have to run multiple cars qualifying. You run, 3 cars qualifying. That way you get it done in an hour or 2 versus, if everyone gets 5 laps, it's going to take a long time. So I'll find out more information with that. I don't know that. I would love to go up there and get some practice laps in whatever, either in the Viper or in the Miata or whatever. But if my practice laps are going to be the qualifying laps, so be it. Learning the hard way. I'm pretty damn good at that. I'm actually really damn good at that. I can hear this hood creaking. I don't know if you guys can hear it on the mic. I can hear it like. So we'll just drop this down. And yeah, I'm going to see if I can move this. The headlight needs to shift up. And I think it's from this fender being down. Can I? Yeah. Whatever it is. Try and get that a little bit straighter. Physically, I think it will be a lot of fun. It is about, it's 100 laps, 3/8 of a mile at 100 laps. So you guys can figure out the mileage there. It's maybe an hour, hour and a half, depending on red light, green light stuff. But where am I going to place? I honestly have no idea. I want to say I'm going to have Garrett in my rearview mirror the entire time, but I won't. Number one, he owns the place. Number two, he's crazy fast around that track. Number three, he's got the driver mod. I mean, he's he's definitely the guy to beat. Will I be ahead of Speedy Cop? Probably not. That guy's so fast. He has just a shit ton of racing experience, so much amateur racing experience. It's not even funny. Um, and all niceties with Speedy Cop end at the gate. So as soon as you come onto track, as soon as you clear the pits and come onto track, they're no more friends. It's all business. He's there. He's there for the trophy. He's there to win. So, and he wants to beat Garrett probably more than anyone else there. So he's come really close a couple of times too. At the last race, he did have a tire issue and he had to come in and change, and he couldn't catch back up. There were still like, I don't know, 30 or 40 cars, and he was working his way through the pack, but the laps ran out before he could get him. So Speedy Cop is definitely one of the guys. He's one of the guys to hang with too. There's a ton of traffic, and if you can hang with Speedy Cop and watch his lines and see how he clears traffic, that's a really good way to do it. Garrett takes really big chances, really big chances. Speedy Cop's much more calculated and conniving is a better way to put it. So he definitely has better lines through traffic than Garrett. Garrett is just all to the floor, man, all to the floor. Um, the tires thing is, I believe, for the Crown Vics, and for this you have to have a street tire, and I believe it's 400 treadwear or higher. So these are Pirelli P4s, and I believe they're a 420 treadwear. And the tire, like I said, they're fairly new. So I'm just going to run these tires with these wheels, correct tire inflation, maybe adjust a few psi depending on weather. It will be January, so it. I hate to rub it into the rest of the country, but it might be in the 60s in the evenings. So, might adjust tire pressure. Not doing much, and that's the other fun part about this. It's a lot like Spec Miata, where this is truly a driver's race. Now you do have some cars that are definitely faster. You know, the V6s with the manuals and coupes; those are definitely faster, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're a better driver. You have guys with the CVTs and the, if it lasts, and you have the and the 2.5, and you know you're Mika Häkkinen, you can probably gap some people even with a sedan. Other guys run the SER, which is a nicer suspension. It's definitely got more power. I think, I don't remember, the SER is turbocharged. I think they are. So, and it's SR20 DET. Is that what's in those? So anyway, technically that is also on the Altima platform, so that also falls under the Altima. I think that's what Garrett runs. Speedy Cop runs this, but a V6. He has the coupe, but a V6 manual. Trying to remember what the other guys run. I'd have to look again. But yeah, run just 400 treadwear tires. When they do the Crown Vic races, I think they give you the Mucho Machos or Linglongs or whatever the hell they have. Oh no, they have Toyos. I think they're Toyo. They're Toyo sponsored now. I think that's right. Yeah, because it was hysterical to see the Toyo ad on the side of the Goodyear blimp. That was funny as hell. I lost it. I'm like, wait, what? Okay. Yeah, like I said, on this car, the suspension's pretty much done on this car, with 180,000 miles on it. The struts in the front are okay. The shocks in the rear are okay. I wouldn't take this car on a 2,000-mile road trip. It would just not be good. So we're basically running on just springs with a little bit of shock left. When I get under the car and inspect bushings, I need to check the rubber on them because we're looking at 18 years of rubber. We'll see how nice the rubber is in those bushings. I do not want to change out struts. They're like 200 bucks each. And again, I'm trying not to dump a shit ton of money into this car because it's going right back out the door. So trying to keep it as simple as possible. Um, but yeah, the suspension should be okay. When I was test driving this, I didn't really get to do any kind of super hammering because I was in front of the guy's house, and I can't whip out a huge J turn in front of his wife and kids. He'd probably not appreciated. So I didn't really get to try it out much. When we get the new fluids in there and we get some test drives done and get the brakes done and the clutch done, it'll be better to assess how the suspension is going to do. But right now, it's okay. It is drivable, especially on the street. But like I said, on the track, we're probably going to get some roll. I know the other cars, I've seen other cars three-wheel it because all their stuff is blown out or destroyed. And you can tell the ones that have the nicer suspension, their wheels stay on the ground. The ones that don't, they're lifting in the back. So yeah, it's there. What's the time frame? Well, I have until January 17th. That's the day of the race. So I have 17 days plus a week. So I have a little more than 3 weeks to get this done. But the good part is the car doesn't need much. So a lot of it is going to be removing weight. The fluids will take, depending on when fluids get here, that'll take a day or two. The brake pads will probably take a day or two to get here. The rotors are actually in really good shape. Tires are okay. So then paint and the theme should be in pretty good shape. I'll do as much testing as I can, take it up on the highway and do a bunch of on and off ramps for acceleration and braking and stuff like that. So we'll get it, we'll get it sorted as best we can, considering, it's not a, it's not a Formula One car. So I don't think nitrous is allowed. I think that's a no-no just from a safety aspect. I don't think it's a no-no from a power aspect. It's a pressurized fuel source, and I don't think they like that. The fewer chances of explosions, the better, especially when you're dealing with this many vehicles in such a small space. The less blowy uppy, the better. that would be my theory. If you want, I'll ask him, hey, can I put 150 shot on this? Would that be cool? Sneaky Pete in the door frame. Yeah, you guys all right with that? I don't think they will. That's a safety thing. That's not a power thing. It would be very funny though to just on the straight, just time it out. That would be very funny. What other questions? I think I got all your questions, right, Tress? Yeah. How's the remodeling of the FF noticeable difference? Oh, the remodeling of the Freedom Factory? Holy crap. You can tell that he's put millions into that place. I don't know about millions, but at least $1 million. All the repaving of the track surface and the whole infield, the sodding of the infield. So we'll work our way inside out. The all new track, all new pavement, all new sod. So the grass is perfect. They have a whole new PA system. They have a whole new camera system. They have a big Jumbotron. It's like a 50-foot screen over in the corner off of, if you're in the grandstands in the main front, it's over kind of to the left. If you're on the pit side, it's over kind of to your right. It's on the south side of the track. None of that stuff was there before. Everything's been repainted. So you don't have, shitty chipped lead paint everywhere. Everything's very clean. There's garbage cans everywhere. The concession stands are really nice. There's like, it's kind of like I don't want to say open bar, but it's like an open kind of lounge area, and there's like 3 or 4 monitors there where you can they have like bar stools around like 5 or 6 tables, and you can kind of sit there and eat your chili cheese nachos while you watch what's going on. And then the grandstands are actually very nice. Again, they're very clean. If I remember right, they're new and they're all aluminum. All of the staff is fantastic. The little old ladies checking tickets are really nice. The the guy in the wheelchair who checks you going into the pits, he's super cool. And all of them are definitely car people. They love the car events, whether it's, you know, circle track cars or midgets, you know, Altimas, Danger Rangers, whatever. They love it all. And they're into it and they know why you're there. The parking people are cool. You know, they're flagging you down, sending you into a spot. They're like, "Hey, man, have fun tonight." They're very social. They're very polite. They're very friendly. Um, so they've done a great job, literally from the inside out, making that place someplace you want to go to. It's now a desired locale. It's a desired destination. Conversely, the money that Garrett, you know, went in with Victor on BMP, they're doing the exact same thing there. It is the same model. It'll take, you know, a year or two to get everything done. But you know, they're repaving. They repaved the whole entrance, which is beautiful now. It was okay before, but it's beautiful now. And then BMP is getting all of these, you know, new stuff, new concessions, new bathrooms, new all of this. So, you know, it's all that little section right there is going to be a really, really killer, you know, drag strip and fun factory, you know, circle track. It'll be a lot of fun. Um, but yeah, they're doing all of the right stuff there. They're also getting a ton of feedback from people who go there. Hey, can you guys add this? Hey, there's too many of these. Hey, how about parking over here? They're taking all of those suggestions and putting them in place. They're doing a great job. Great job. I couldn't do a better job. Um, I didn't know anything about the fire sale, but the last thing I need is another car. The very last thing I need is another car. Um, Also, I'm not sure if you're new or if you've seen the limo, but both Garrett and I have limos. His has about 10 times the horsepower that mine does, but mine's lower to the ground, doesn't have a roof, and is a lot cooler. So uh, his might be quicker down the track, but mine's a lot cooler. So yeah, I haven't seen anything about his fire sale or anything like that. I know he's got a bunch of really kick-ass vehicles and aircraft and boats and all this stuff. So someone will get some really good stuff. The last thing I need, I got 9 cars and trucks and 2 motorcycles. I don't need any more stuff. Really don't. His personal truck, like his Tahoe, or no, is it a GMC? Was it a Denali? I don't know. If it's one of the giveaway things, I don't have any interest in it. Yeah. Or the raffle things, I don't have any interest in that shit. That's uh that's becoming kind of a scourge and not a good thing. Um, oh, Raptor? Well, considering he's a GM guy and he has a bow tie pool, I don't know how personal the truck is. Yeah, you have a chance to buy his personal truck. Yeah, that sounds like one of the raffle things. Not into those in any way. Not definitely not my thing. Um, but people like that shit. Go ahead. Go for it. I'm one less entry. I'm one less competitor. Just not my thing. Not my thing at all. This is my thing now. Wow. It's amazing what that does for you. A yard sale, not a giveaway. Okay. Not sure how that works, but I'll take your word for it. I'll go check it out. It's been really tough to keep up with Garrett and the rest of those guys this week. It's been a very, very difficult week for um, anyone who's a fan of Garrett and Parker and his family and his coworkers, all the regulars and all the crew there. It's been a really gnarly week, and trying to keep up with all that has been really difficult. So um, I did see something about a Christmas party, and everybody got like a little mini Land Cruiser, which I thought was pretty cool. Like I said, the guy's doing everything right. Everything right. Um, he's got an awesome family. His wife, kids are great, and I mean, he's um, you know he's doing it. He's doing it. Um, more power to him. More power to him. I'm lucky that I get to be a tiny little part of that, and I'm super jazzed about it. You know, it's a lot of fun for me. It's like I said, it's more about racing and going out there and having fun with my friends than it is about the money or followers or YouTube paychecks or anything like that. Like I said, for this stuff, I don't get paid a dime. YouTube doesn't give me a single penny. Last month on Facebook and Instagram combined, with the hundreds of posts and hours of video that I put up, they gave me $3.42. So if you're looking to be a social media millionaire, it's not done organically, and it's not done without a really nice set of 38 double Fs. So yeah, it's 50 times harder, 50,000 times harder for a guy than a female. But unless you're a complete idiot and you know do stupid shit, it's impossible. Sorry. If you're honest, truthful, lay out facts, and provide good advice, you have no business on social media. No one will see anything that you do. Yeah, that's my Viper, 2008 Gen 4 Aero Coupe. I didn't put the cover on today because I was moving it and the Miata back and forth. And so since I was shuffling vehicles around, I didn't put the cover back on the Viper. Um, sorry. The cover's right there, though. It's in between the two cars. I'll get the cover back on it soon. What do we got? Oh, the V10. Yep. Okay. So I got all the questions. We'll be doing more stuff tomorrow night. Like I said, I'm going to take a look at that switch for that seat. It sounds like the um, the motor's a worm gear that goes, and it sounds like it's reached the end and it can't come back. So I'm thinking maybe a pair of pliers to help motivate it will help it come back so that it doesn't reach that end. I've seen that before where it kind of goes past the thread and then it can't come back. So we'll get the seat out of there, flip it upside down. We'll take a look at the motors and see if we can't get that seat working properly, and also get that cover clipped back into place. And then, like I said, the brake fluid's on order, the brake pads are on order, and we'll do an engine cleanup tomorrow. I'll get the engine nice and clean, and we'll probably take wheels off tomorrow and take a look at the brakes and all that. Actually, we'll do wheels when the brake pads come in. If the pads get here tomorrow, then we'll do wheels. Otherwise, we'll do strip out the interior. We get the passenger seat out, we get the rear seats out, and as much cushioning and carpeting and stuff as possible. And then we'll start weighing stuff so we can get this thing under 3K. Under 3,000 pounds would be a good deal. I'd be very happy with that. I'm also going to check with a buddy. I might run a compression test on this just to make sure that engine is worthy of an oil change. But that's the other thing we'll start on tomorrow too is all the fluids changing. The transaxle, the oil, coolant, and brake and clutch. Like I said, brake and clutch share a reservoir, so it's all the same. But they're all getting Motul 600. Yeah, trust. That's why I'm doing these, and especially all this week while it's Christmas time and a lot of people are, sitting on the couch, um, not doing much, trying to stay out of family arguments. Um, that's why I'm doing this. Tonight, tomorrow night, Christmas, all through New Year. We're just going to keep going. So I'll keep doing smaller stuff, and if I do stuff off camera, I'll explain to you guys what I did and try and get you as much detail as possible. There'll be surprises like having 100 amps, 12 volts at 100 amps sparking around in the trunk, but we'll try and avoid the dangerous ones. And I'll go through this stuff and explain the stuff I'm using and why I'm using it, and what's been done, what has worked and what has not worked. So I'll try and get as much detail as possible. I got a late start tonight because I had a ton of running around today and a billion phone calls, but I got everything done, which is a good thing. So that opens up tomorrow. And so I'll just keep doing these live streams. And then if folks want, they can reference it later on. But I hope to hear back from Freedom Factory tomorrow. For grins, I'll ask them about nitrous. Just for grins. You asked. So I don't want to disappoint anyone. So yeah. Yeah, and that's the other thing. For a build like this, since it is extremely simplistic, I'm not quite sure how folks would enjoy it, but I'll try to make it as enjoyable as possible, if that helps. I'll try to make it as fun as possible. And at the very least, you can take some of the basics from here and apply it to other cars or trucks or, I don't know, fire trucks, shit, I don't know. The streams are usually done in the evening. Usually I do them after dinner, so usually after 8 p.m. Occasionally there's a matinee, at 2 in the afternoon. If there's, for some reason, where I need sunlight or stuff's drying or whatever, then I'll do an afternoon stream. But most of them are done after dinner. So you can have a favorite beverage, pop on the couch, and then pop in here and ask me a million questions because I love them. I love questions from you guys. That's one of my favorite things. So definitely keep asking those. And except don't ask what diff fluid smells like, because just the thought of it makes me want to puke. Oh yeah, like Liz said, yeah, there's a lot of other stuff. If you go back there, we have live streams from my shop in Ohio. We have live streams from inside the race car during the race. We have live streams from here in the shop doing stuff with the limo, doing stuff with the Viper, the Miata. We have a whole bunch of different cars that have been through Ohio. I have started on a list. We have close to 1,000 cars that have been to my shop in Ohio, which is pretty amazing. And that's everything from full, like, complete ground up builds to like air and tires. So anything that pulled into my shop, I put on the list, and close to 1,000 different vehicles, which is pretty cool over, let's see, 2011. So 15 years. That's kind of cool. I think it's kind of cool. It's nice to have that variety. So yeah, there's a variety that comes in here. There's hardcore racing stuff. There's insanely rare cars. There's also incredibly common, financial market bomb out cars. And, there's trucks and motorcycles. Like I have today, the oil change for the motorcycle showed up today, all the oil for the oil change. So we'll do an oil change on one of my motorcycles too. So there's a whole variety of stuff that happens in here. hopefully you don't ever get bored. But I love you guys asking questions. That's one of my favorite things. If you do have any more questions, definitely put them down there. I'm happy to answer them. And also, those of you that know me, you know how easy it is to get in touch with me. I got the phone right here. Email me, text me, whatever. And um, we're going to keep going on this. You guys will get to watch it slowly come to fruition. And like I said, anything I do off camera, I'll do my best to describe to you guys how I did it, or if usually the major stuff I save for you guys, the minor stuff, taking off shitty Plastidip. You guys don't want to watch me do that for 3 hours. So I'll save that stuff for off camera. You guys get the cool stuff like yanking out interiors and watching gross ass coolant come out. So you guys get the cool stuff. We'll save the boring stuff for just me. So yeah, definitely shoot me questions, comments, all that stuff. I love it. And thank you to all the new subscribers. You guys, I'm absolutely blown away in the last week how many people have signed up. I think that's fantastic. You guys, I really hope you guys enjoy what I do here, and definitely spread the word. And I will keep doing it. And like I said, I don't get paid a dime for this. So I don't get paid a nickel. Actually, tonight I made a quarter, right? So I got 25 cents over. The other channel had what, 6 years on it, and this has 3 years, almost 10 years. I finally made a quarter. I'm on my way. Coming for you, Mr. Beast. Got that quarter right there. What the hell? Anyway, I'm glad you guys are having fun. We're having fun with this, and I'll do my best to not blow stuff up. But if I do, you guys get to watch it. And then if stuff succeeds, you guys get to be right there with me when it does. So I love that part too. Oh, trust, don't go to Ohio if you don't have to. Oh, yeah. And it's funny, Trust, when I wrote the title out, it originally said Altima. And I'm like, Altima's kind of boring. And people are also going to go, okay, that's bullshit. He's not racing a Nissan Altima. Nobody is that stupid to do that. And so I'm like, if I did BAE, if I did, big Ultima Energy, people would recognize that. And they would be like, oh yeah, it's big Ultima Energy race car. Okay. But I think I agree with you that maybe it just has to be both. Maybe it has to be Altima BAE or BAE Altima, so it covers both of them. I don't know. That's a really good one, because I did have that go through my head when I was making the title. People will like BAE because they know that from big Ultima Energy, but Ultima is a very common thing, and it's a much easier search. But BAE's so funny, and it has so many stereotypes and connotations with it. But Ultima has the same thing. So yeah, I'll switch it over to Ultima. Yeah, I'll leave BAE in there, but I'm going to add Ultima in there. I'm not sure which way around that will go, but BAE is also part of the theme on the car, so that's why I wanted BAE in there. I'll figure out this. This is only the second. I did the unboxing last night, so this is only technically the first video. So I'll change the title. That's a great suggestion, though. If people are searching for Ultima stuff and they want to find kooky shit, they'll be able to find this. But if they search for Ultima, they wouldn't find it right now, because it would just be BAE. And so yeah, that's a good call. I'll change that when we finish up here tonight. I'll figure out how to add Ultima in there, and then that'll be the standard title. Like when I do limo stuff, it says limo update. For this, it'll be like BAE Ultima update or Ultima BAE update. That way, you guys, when you see the notification or whatever, you'll know which vehicle is going to be highlighted tonight. So that works a lot better. That's a great idea. Plus, yeah, the search factor and all of that. The search factor, the reference factor, and what viewers want to see. Some people want to see me, fight the limo every nut and bolt, and some people want to see me make an Altima a race car. So, uh, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. Some people just want to watch me put air in the tires in the Viper. Okay, I can do that too. So yeah, yeah, this will be fun. This will be a lot of fun. I hope you guys do stick around, and I hope you enjoy the stuff that I do this car, because it's going to be interesting to make it into a race car, but still have it, sort of street legal and street drivable for my buddy who wants to buy it for his son. So I got to be kind of, mindful of that when I'm doing all of this stuff. I don't want to, rip out the headliner and, you know, take all the sound deadening and stuff out, because while that's weight, it doesn't help with, selling the car. So we'll be careful with it. Oh, okay. So you knew what was going on. You're like, oh no, I know what that guy's going to do with that car. Yep. Yep. You're 100% correct. Um, and also, for others, if you guys get the chance, go to YouTube, go to Freedom Plus, and or go to Cletus McFarland's channel and check out the highlights from the last couple of Ultima 600 races, and you will crack up. There's so much fun stuff and crazy stuff. You're like, these cars should not be out on a track. They were never designed to do anything like that. But you got 100, 110 guys out there trying to be the fastest one around this oval. It is hysterical on every level. So definitely go check those out. They're on Freedom Plus, and they're on Cletus McFarland. I think they might also have them on 1320. I think Kyle might have those up there too. But the races are very funny, and the highlights are very funny. It is a ton of, it's a lot of fun, and there's not a lot of stuff where you can have that much fun in that short period of time with that many people, without it being illegal, of course. Oh, okay. Yeah. So we'll come back tomorrow night. Hopefully I'll have more green off the roof. I'm probably going to do some more of that tonight, just because, God damn it, it bugs me. OCD is such a bitch. It really is. So we get some more of that green cleaned up. And then depending on if brake pads show up or not, we might do undercarriage cleaning, wheel well cleaning, and get the brake pads in there. And we also might just do fluids. I might just take the camera on the ground with you guys, get this thing up on the jack stands, and start draining stuff. So we'll see what happens with parts and fluids. But all of that is happening this week, through this weekend. I don't have any plans. I don't have any family in town. I don't have anything else. I got some Christmas cookies from a friend of mine. That's it. I bought one present, and I don't have the address to send it to. So I don't know what the hell's going to happen to it. So I don't, this is what I've got this week. And I'm going to do the Santa Claus without the beard and without freezing my ass off. I'm going to just keep bringing you guys presents. They're not cool. It's not like a 3-liter Whipple supercharger for your, for your Coyote 5.0, but hopefully this is some cool stuff. Hopefully you guys like it. I do not know if Cody is going to be racing. I think he's keeping a pretty low profile after everything that's happened. I don't know. That's a touchy one. I don't want to touchy. That's yeah. I know JW Diesel will probably be there. He's a regular. I know Speedy Cop's a regular. Travis Pastrana's a regular. Carson Hovacar came to the last event, which wasn't the Ultima 600. It was a different event. It was just the Freedom 500, and with the Crown Vics. And so hopefully Carson comes back, which would be really cool. Um, there's a whole bunch of kind of big YouTubers, and there's a lot of regulars. A lot of the guys from Garrett's shop and the guys from CJ Race Cars. Victor, who owns the other half of BMP, he'll probably race again. He got jacked up in the last race. He got hit really hard, hardest hit of the race, and he was okay, walked away. Um, but they have a lot of really cool people at that race. So yeah, yeah. It's watered down lemons with Altos. Um, yeah, there's lemons is different though because there is a theme involved, and people put huge time and money into that theme. As I know, as you know, I put thousands and thousands of dollars into themes. With this, a theme is not required, but I'm definitely doing one. So that's one of those, you know, I think that's one of the other differences. The other difference is Lemons is usually always has a charity on hand. So if you do win, you can donate directly to that charity. I don't think Freedom Factory does that yet. I'm pretty sure when when their accountant finds out that they can get a big tax break by doing something like that, I'll bet you they get in on that too. So um, it's different too. It's oval track versus it's a very small oval track versus a larger road course like Road Atlanta or even Road America is a gigantic lap. Even pit race rip was a big lap that was almost 3 miles, and Road America I think Road America is a little over. I think it's 3.2. So when you have huge tracks like that, you can get bigger gaps in you know over long periods of time. When you only have 100 laps and it's about an hour and a half, you got to hammer down, and you've got a little tiny track to do it. You've got a shit ton of people in your way. So it's a different style of racing, big time. But it is the same. I would say it's the same thing. Get a super cheap car and kind of, instead of go racing with your buddies on the crew, you're going racing with your buddies because everyone has one of the cars. So it does have it's in the same vein, I think. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be fun though. It'll be a ton of fun. And I'm gonna try and live stream from the car. I will have a camera set up, and I'll have a hotspot. So I will try and I'll be mic'd up. So I'll try and live stream from the car. So you guys will be able to watch the live stream on Freedom Plus, which will have all of the cars, and it'll have in cameras. I think they have Garrett and Victor, and I don't know if Speedy Cop runs a camera as well, but they'll have in cars from a couple of different cameras. And then if you guys want, you can watch the live stream here of me in the car and wherever I'm at. Um, my goal for this race is to finish. That's it. I just want the checkered. I don't care if I'm 100th. 100th, one 100th. Yeah, that's the correct term. Yeah. So I honestly don't care. I want to finish the race. I want this car to be strong enough to go 100 laps, and I just want to finish the race. That's a big one for me. Anything above that is absolutely cherry on top. Uh, if I'm ahead of Speedy Cop, oh, we're gonna have a great time. The only code that I pulled up on the car, and I'll show it to you because I screenshotted it. This was the only code that I pulled up on the car. I'm not sure if you can read that. So it is a P2004, intake manifold runner control stuck open, bank one. So that's what I was talking about, getting the intake cleaner and hopefully that runner. And that's part of the cold start and emissions thing. So there's these little butterfly valves that open and close, and it helps with cold start and smoother more efficient cold starting. They've been around for a very, very, very long time. So I'm guessing that it's kind of jammed open and won't close. So I'm pumping some intake cleaner, get some of the carbon or crap or whatever. These cars, they're like Camrys, they're not well known for maintenance. So if you can get cleaner oil, cleaner brake fluid, cleaner trans fluid, all that stuff, you can get a nicer running engine that's going to last a little bit longer. The engine's going to thank me profusely for the oil and filter, I promise. And the gearbox is going to thank me for all the new fluid, I promise. It's going to thank me so much, it's going to send me little sparklies in the drain tray. I promise it's going to send me little sparklies in the drain tray. Here's your little, pieces of glitter. Make a diamond. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that was the only engine code on the car. And I thought it was from a plug that it hadn't been plugged back in when they did the swap. But the code did not come back immediately. Usually, if it's unplugged, the code will pop back on right away. But the code did not come back right away. So pretty sure that we're okay with that. I do have a low tire pressure thing. We'll take care of the tire pressures as well. And then, like I said, the last thing we'll do on the car is paint. That'll probably be just a few days before the event. There's absolutely no rush. And all the other stuff we're doing on the car, I'd rather, scratch, dent, bonk with old paint. Can you show the interior? Sure. Let me grab a light. Oh, I really have to. Is that glued or is that a snap? I don't know what the hell that is. I don't know if that's a snap or a clip. I don't know what that is. It's the cover for the handle. Yeah, let me get a light in here. Of course, the dash is all super sticky. I'll bring you guys over. Let me drop you down too, so you get to see the glow-in-the-dark shift knob, which is even cooler. It's not. Okay. Of course, that one wheel stops right there for no reason. Okay. Bring you guys down here. So this interior is actually in pretty decent shape. I don't know if that helps. I'm trying to sit normally in the car, and it's difficult. That's not what I wanted. That looks so weird. So we have the sticky dash. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but just left a whole bunch of fingerprints. I don't know what that's from. Here is the mic for the radio, for the Bluetooth. Here's the radio, which you guys can see is almost portable at this point. The air conditioning works, the heater works. Here's our big glow-in-the-dark shift knob. Oh, it's just going to pick up those bolts. Where the hell are those bolts from? Random bolts. These are engine bay bolts, I'll tell you that right now. But you gotta have your Bluetooth charger here, or your 12-volt charger. So here we go. That's a little bit better. So we have the glow-in-the-dark shift knob. And, if I turn off this light, that doesn't really help. But it definitely glows in the dark. And also you have the reverse here. You have to lift up on this ring to go into reverse. This crap can go away. I hate that shit. I have this big thing about stuff hanging from the rearview mirror. because when you're racing and you're focused here, and then you have this dangly dolphin off to the side, it is incredibly distracting. It is nutso distracting. That shit drives me crazy. And people have like, huge necklaces and, you know, miniature donkeys and shit hanging off there. I mean, come on. I can't tell if so I guess we'll take a look now. It has a steering wheel cover that's on very tight. I'm gonna hurt myself taking this off. Of course, I take it off the wrong way. So it has this super thick, I mean, it's comfortable, but it's also destroyed. And the original steering wheel is actually okay, except for this top edge, which we can probably just sand down or trim out a little bit. But aside from the top, but most of the time you're going to be here, so I'm not too worried about this, but it's definitely sun damaged up here. So we'll run back to the rest of the wheel is actually perfect. It's only this section that's jacked up. So we're done with this too. All done. And again, we pull the stereo out. We get that sub wire out. I bet you dollars to donuts, it's right underneath this carpet. I bet you it's right underneath this little trim piece. And again, nothing else fancy in here. The seats are the OEM seats. They're actually fairly clean. They could use some cleaning. Oh, you can lock the trunk. And here's the OEM manual. And ow, I don't know what this is. This is a knob for something. I don't know what the knob is for. It's basically a brand new manual. And this has to get repaired. So I don't know if you guys can see this. No, you can't really. This doesn't go back up. He does not stay in place. So I thought you were supposed to be able to move him. Oh, the light still works though. But yeah, you can tell that detent is broken. And he's at the exact height of my head. With the helmet, yeah, because I'll be able to see. I can drop the seat. Yeah, the steering wheel is pretty big. I'm gonna say he's 370. See, I can drop, so I still have tons of room, but that's bad. I will bet you this has never been opened. It's like the Ark of the Covenant. 2008 Altima. Owner's manual. Look at that. Yeah, okay. Customer care and lemon law information. There is the used car tag, which we can also eject. It did only come with one key. But that we'll hang on to, but he's not going to stay in the car. That's almost a pound right there. So we're getting better. And I've got the title over here. So the airbag will come out of there. What the hell is this thing? This has to be a dash trim piece. He is somewhere here. Oh, he's maybe no. See part. Yeah, he goes right here. Okay. Okay. And spring sounds suspect. So at least we have that part back. There is no light in the glove box, which is interesting. I don't know what's squeaking outside, but yeah, car car functions properly. All the lights work. Trying to turn off the radio. There it goes. I don't want to push too hard because I don't want to short it out. Max AC and hazards work, all four. Again, there's a lot of this trim stuff that has to be put back in place because when they did the stereo, it just kind of sits in there. So all of those work. Do we have a dimmer switch? Yeah, all the turn signals work. I already tried that stuff. Where's the dimmer? Oh, there's the. I found the trunk latch. Okay, it's right there. There's no dimmer switch. What the shit? Oh, that's where the key goes. Oh, very Porsche-like. Oh, nice. Okay. Cool. We'll just leave the key in there. So we don't need it anywhere else. Yeah, I don't know where the dimmer switch is for the lights. We do have tilt. Oh, okay. But we do not have telescopic. And I don't know where the dimmer is for the instrument display, but that's okay. We'll find that out. But yeah, everything in the interior works. Passenger door handle trim piece. Oh, you want me to duct tape this up? I can do that. No, all the passenger pieces are here. There's not a trim ring. This is the trim ring. There's nothing else that goes around there. It's the same on this side. Interior fuse panel for I'm not missing any fuses. I'm just looking for the maybe it's in the menu. Oops. Miles per gallon, current time, 60 miles of range. Guy couldn't even give me a full tank. Whoops. Next. All right, so we got to put washer fluid in there. He's gonna be pissed. Skip. All right. Well, I don't know how to dim the lights. Maybe you don't. Oh, here's our You're talking about our fuse panel? He's right here. Everything else seems okay. Right here. What is this? 5-star nutrition. That can go away. Last thing I need. And everything else is out of the car. Oh, we had super kick-ass stereo. This is a Pioneer head unit? Wow, okay. There's a bushing reducer here. And I'm guessing these are some of the mount plates. So, okay. So, yeah, interior is actually okay. I'm not quite sure what to do with the sticky. I'm sure this is actually part of the dash. Yeah. So I don't even know how to transplant that correctly. No way to put it on there. Or maybe they had some kind of pad on here, but we'll try like some Goo Gone. And I know there's this crazy thing with like peppermint oil and all of that. Does the brake engage like the parking brake? Yeah. So from here to here, there's absolutely nothing. And then the last 2 clicks. So from here to here, there's nothing. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you have full engagement on the parking brake. So there's obviously, we have a loose adjuster, or one of the cables is jammed up on the rear. So we'll have to lube that up and make sure that works okay. It does engage when you've pulled all the way back, but there's literally nothing here. It's like there's nothing. It is definitely not a drift car. Not ready for drifting. We have a gas fuel door, which I'm pretty sure works. I haven't put gas in it yet. I haven't had to. That's the other thing. I'm going to get rid of as much of this gas as possible. I'm going to take it down to basically on fumes. Then I'm going to run 93 in this with the Techron injector cleaner and all of that stuff. We'll do at least 1 full tank with the Techron. The other problem with driving this around is I don't have plates for it. So it doesn't have plates, it doesn't have insurance, so it's not street legal. So the driving that I have to do is like up and down my driveway or around my spare lot. That's the kind of driving I have to do. And until I get plates and insurance for it, it's kind of where I'm at. I think that's about it. I can't believe there's no dimmer switch for that. There has to be a dimmer switch somewhere. Where the hell's the dimmer switch? Isn't that weird? I would have thought it would be like over here or over by this. See, I keep thinking that's a separate piece, but it's not. That's weird. All right. You've got to be able to dim this. What am I missing? Am I this special? Don't answer that. There is no dimmer switch over here. There's no dimmer switch anywhere on the dash. There's a reset button and then your menu, but there's no. That's your cruise control. But yeah, there's no. I mean, it looks like there's a spot right here, and these are two switches. But yeah, there's no dimmer. I don't know what the hell that is. Probably temp sensor. That's a hood release. Yeah, there's nothing here to. There are no adjustments for it. Is that odd? Maybe in the menu? There's nothing in here. It's just outside temp. Let's go to display. Language and unit. That's it. Time to rest or icy. You can put alerts on here. So there's no option to, is this? Oh, I found it. So the reset, the dial to the left of the steering wheel or manage with steering wheel controls. So what it is it's the trip reset push button on here is actually the dimmer switch. So that's as high as it can go, and then that's as low as it can go. So, okay. So, oh, you know what? That's not a push. That's the only thing it does. It's just, that's the dial. The push is over on this side. Okay. Found the dimmer switch. That's obnoxious as hell. Wow. That's a really bad place for that. Okay. Found it. That was weird that couldn't adjust it. So yeah, we'll do some stereo stuff. Tomorrow we'll yank out the radio. We'll pull out the front seat, and I think the front seat is power too. Nope, front seat's manual, which is a good thing. We'll pull out the front seat. We'll get the cushions and stuff out of the rear, and then we'll I don't know, get this thing. It wants me to take the key out. I just want to leave it in there. Can I do that? No? Wonder if it'll just let me leave that in there. So we'll get out of the car that keeps beeping as long as the door's open. We get the radio out, we'll do the seats, and we'll do the rear seat cushions and get some of the stuff cleaned out, and then we'll figure out how much, hopefully I can find the scale, and we can start weighing this stuff and get us under the 3,000 pound mark. That's the huge one, is under 3,000 pounds. That's what I really need. So let me close the door. These are actually big doors for a commuter car, especially on the coupes. Raise you guys up here a little bit. And we will call that a fun night with the Altima. You guys had a ton of great questions. Trust, thanks a bunch, man. I really appreciate it. It's cool when you guys ask questions and they're serious questions, not like, if you threw a baseball just before the speed of light, what would happen? Dude, I'm the wrong dude to ask that question. But I love when you guys ask really cool questions, especially the tech stuff. And when you force me to find kooky dash light dial knobs that are in just an obscure, bizarro place, right? So, I guess we can save the steering wheel cover. It's weird. It has like, I don't know. Again, we'll hang on to it for 1 year. If we never use it again, actually, we'll just include it with the car. Maybe somebody wants it. But what I'll do with that steering wheel is I will glue down, I'll actually epoxy down that top, and I'll file it. Probably run another layer of epoxy and file that. And hopefully that gives us a nice smooth edge and doesn't hurt gloves and stuff. And the epoxy should last a really long time. I just got to make sure it's UV stabilized because it'll be in the sunshine. That's all. And that way it'll last the life of the car and you don't have to run a steering wheel cover. So that's about it for tonight. I really appreciate you guys hanging out. Like I said, I appreciate all the new subscribers. You guys are great. If there's something you want to see, if there's a car you want to see in the shop, or if you have some technical question about some car or about race cars or, you know, crazy builds or trophy trucks or whatever, definitely put the question down there, shoot me an email, whatever. I'll do my best to either get the vehicle in here and show you or talk to a friend and you know, find out what they're doing with XYZ or things you don't want to do with XYZ. I'll try and get the info back to you guys if I can't get the physical vehicle here. But I love doing this stuff. I love teaching you guys. I love it when you guys ask questions. That's my favorite thing. Conversely, I love learning. So I love learning about this stuff. And the more I know about cars, the more knowledge I get to pass on to you guys. And I love that part. So, like I said, I don't get paid anything for this, so I'll keep doing it as long as I can. And yeah, I really appreciate you guys. I saw a huge jump in subscribers the last week, and I'm really glad you guys are liking this. That makes me feel really good. That's a very nice present for me. So that's it for tonight. We'll get back. We'll do some more interior stuff tomorrow and see if we can get this car a little bit lighter. So I appreciate you guys hanging out tonight. Just part of car life, always something to learn. That is very true. Very, very true. So yeah, that's it for tonight. And don't forget to show someone that you love them today. Give them a kiss on the cheek. Give them a kiss on the tip of their nose. Hold their hand. Give it a squeeze. It's really important for them, but it's far more important for you. All right. Thanks, everyone. I will catch you tomorrow evening. All right. Have a great night. Ooh, it's so sporty.